The war-torn sector of Zarathus Prime was quiet. Too quiet. Smoke from destroyed colonies drifted through space, twisting like gray ribbons. The alien fleet of the Varkon Dominion patrolled the area, their massive ships shining with deadly weapons and glowing engines. From the bridge of the flagship, Admiral Threx looked down at the holomap. He frowned. Reports say, "Tiny human warships are approaching," a nervous lieutenant whispered. Threx laughed, a deep echoing sound that filled the bridge. "Humans, tiny ships? They cannot even hold their own against our drones. This is nothing but a joke," other officers nodded, smirking. The Varkons had fought hundreds of races, crushed dozens of planets, and yet, humans had always been small, weak, and laughable in their eyes. "Send a warning," Threx said. "Let them know their foolishness will end here." Meanwhile, far behind the sector's asteroid belt, human ships appeared. They were small, worn, and almost outdated. Simple designs with scratched hulls and faded markings. Nothing about them seemed threatening, but the humans moved with strange precision. Their formations were perfect, almost too perfect, weaving through asteroid fields without hesitation. Their engines hummed in a rhythm that seemed different. Back on the Varkon flagship, the scanners beeped erratically. "Admiral, something strange. Energy readings. We've never seen this before." Threx leaned over the console. His eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Humans cannot have this kind of technology. Check the readings again." The technicians frantically repeated the scans, but the results were the same. Pulses of energy flowed through the human ships, twisting the Varkon sensors in ways no one could understand. "What is this?" a young officer whispered, fear creeping into his voice. "Don't waste time guessing," Threx snapped. "Prepare the fleet. We will destroy them before they reach the inner sector." But it was too late. The humans were closer than anyone thought. From their small command ship, Captain Celine watched the Varkon fleet with calm, focused eyes. Her crew moved quickly, hands flying over controls as if dancing with the ship itself. "Steady," she said. "Wait for the moment." Then, without warning, the lead human ship emitted a bright pulse of energy. The Varkon ships shuddered violently. Shields flickered and weapons misfired. The pulse rippled through the nearest fleet, freezing engines and disabling targeting systems. Alarm klaxons blared. "What is happening?" Threx roared, pounding the console. His face turned red with rage. Another human ship fired a second pulse, this time hitting the outer Varkon frigates. Explosions rocked the alien fleet. Smaller ships spun out of control, colliding with one another. Panic erupted. Officers shouted over alarms, orders were ignored, and chaos spread like wildfire. From the human bridge, Captain Celine watched the Varkons struggle. "Hold position," she ordered calmly. "We are not here to fight one yet. Let them see who we are." In the shadows of the battlefield, other human ships began to move in perfect synchrony, weaving through disabled Varkon cruisers. Each pulse, each maneuver was measured, calculated, and terrifyingly effective. "Admiral," the young officer screamed. "Their ships. They are controlling our systems." Threx felt a cold fear creeping into his chest. The Varkons were trained to fear nothing. They had crushed worlds, wiped out species, and faced threats that would terrify almost anyone. But humans were different. Something about them was unfamiliar, unpredictable, and unstoppable. On the bridge, Threx clenched his fists. "Focus on targeting them. Fire everything!" But the human ships had already vanished into a small asteroid field, reappearing where no Varkon could anticipate. Every scan failed. Every weapon missed. The Varkon's confidence shattered in moments. Captain Celine smiled slightly. She knew the aliens were frightened. They had never seen anything like this before. Humanity was small, yes, but in this moment the galaxy would learn that size was never the measure of power. Back on the Varkon flagship, alarms continued to scream. Threx stared at the display, his face pale. "Prepare the entire fleet. We must stop them, no matter the cost." But even he knew deep down that the humans were not ordinary. Something about them was different. Something that could change the galaxy forever. And in the distance, the human ships hovered silently, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. The war had begun, but no one, alien or human, knew how it would end. The Varkon fleet reeled from the human pulse attack. Ships that once moved with deadly precision now spun out of control, colliding with one another. Explosions lit up the war-torn sector like fireworks, each one a reminder that the humans were not to be underestimated. Admiral Threx bellowed orders. his voice carrying over the cacophony of alarms. Form ranks. Fire everything! Destroy them! But the crew hesitated. Every sensor reading screamed confusion. Every scanner showed energy patterns that made no sense. The humans were small, almost fragile, yet their movements were perfect, precise, and unpredictable. Sir, they're ships. They're avoiding all fire. Every shot misses, the young officer stammered. Threx slammed his fist against the console. Impossible. Humans cannot do this. Focus. Target their lead ship. Meanwhile, human ships glided through the battlefield like shadows. Captain Celine remained calm, issuing commands in soft, precise tones. Flank their frigates. Keep distance but maintain control. Remember, we strike only when ready. A pulse of energy flashed from one human ship, momentarily freezing the engines of a Varkon destroyer. The massive vessel spun helplessly, crashing into another, setting off a chain reaction. Chaos spread through the fleet. On board another human ship, Lieutenant Rai monitored the enemy from the tactical screen. They're panicking. They can't keep control of their fleet. Celine nodded. Good. Let them see the cost of underestimating humans. But we must stay careful. One mistake and we are lost. Back in the Varkon flagship, fear began to creep into even the bravest officers. The young lieutenant, who had first reported the approaching human fleet, swallowed hard. Admiral, they are not just fast. Their energy. It's affecting our systems. Weapons, engines, shields, everything. Threx's face turned pale. He had faced hundreds of enemies, some even stronger than humans, but none had ever made his fleet look helpless. We will not fail, he said, though his voice wavered. Fire again. Target everything. Destroy them. But every attack met the same result. Misfires, malfunctioning systems, ships colliding. The humans moved with calm precision, exploiting every weakness in the Varkon formation. It was as if the aliens themselves were the ones being attacked. Amid the chaos, humans continued their own mission. They were not here just to fight. They had a purpose. Human medics aboard smaller ships attended to rescued alien civilians from previous skirmishes, moving quickly between ships. Their presence confused the Varkons even more. Why would humans show mercy while striking fear into their enemies? Admiral, they're helping prisoners, another officer whispered, disbelief in his voice. Threx's eyes narrowed. What madness is this? Show no mercy. Destroy every human ship. They cannot be allowed to survive. But the humans did not survive. They controlled. From the shadows of an asteroid belt, 3 human ships fired a coordinated pulse. A nearby Varkon battleship lost all power, its weapons offline and engines frozen. Another cruiser spun wildly, smashing into an abandoned freighter. Panic became visible on every bridge across the Varkon fleet. Officers shouted, their voices cracking with fear. Orders were ignored. Systems malfunctioned. A fleet that had once moved like a single organism now resembled a scattering of frightened prey. Captain Celine watched carefully. Keep formation. They are strong, yes, but their fear is our ally. We do not need to destroy them completely. Confusion is enough. In the Varkon flagship, Threx could barely maintain control. His fleet was crumbling and humans had not even truly fought yet. Signal all ships. Focus fire on the lead human ship. We will not let them. We cannot. His words were cut off by a sudden report, sir. Multiple ships have vanished from sensors. They are gone, reappearing behind our fleet. The Admiral's face turned ashen. Impossible. No ship should be able to move like that without detection. They are controlling space itself. The young officer whispered in fear. Admiral, humans. They are something else. Something no one in the galaxy has ever seen. Back on the human ships, Captain Celine gave one final order for the moment. Hold position. Observe. Let them realize the truth. The Varkons stared at empty space where the humans had been moments ago, then at their own crippled ships, then back at the sensors, still blank. The sense of fear, confusion, and helplessness was growing, and from the calm of the human command ship, Celine smiled slightly. The humans had done more than survive. They had shown the first signs of their true power. And this was only the beginning. The war-torn sector, once ruled by the proud Varkan fleet, now trembled under the shadow of a small, strange, and unstoppable species, humanity. The Varkon fleet was in disarray. Ships that had once dominated entire sectors now floated helplessly, engines sparking, weapons offline, Chaos reigned across the war-torn space. Officers shouted orders, but no command could bring the fleet back to order. Admiral Threx gritted his teeth. Enough, focus. Destroy the humans before they reach the inner sector. His voice carried rage and fear. Even he could feel the growing terror spreading through his officers. The humans were no ordinary species. They were unpredictable, precise, and utterly unafraid. From the shadows of an asteroid field, 3 human ships emerged. Small, battered yet moving with uncanny precision, they avoided every attack. Each pulse of energy they released caused another Varkon ship to malfunction. It was as if the humans were controlling the battlefield itself. Captain Celine watched calmly from the bridge of her command ship. Split into squads. Flank the frigates. Keep formation tight but unpredictable. Avoid their main fire. Remember, we strike only when necessary. Lieutenant Rye checked the tactical display. They're attempting a counterattack. Frigates are isolating themselves. Perfect for our maneuver. Celine nodded. Exactly. Precision is our weapon. A human squadron darted between crippled alien ships, avoiding energy blasts and collisions. Each move was calculated, designed to confuse and disorient the Varkons. One by one, the alien frigates fell out of formation, engines failing, weapons locked. In the chaos, the humans performed something the Varkons could not understand. They rescued prisoners. Alien civilians captured from earlier battles were ferried aboard small human ships. Medics worked quickly, treating injuries with calm efficiency. The aliens watching this were torn between fear and confusion. How could a species that terrified them show mercy in the same moment? Admiral Threx slammed his fist against the console. Stop them! Destroy those ships! How dare they take our prisoners? Sir, their ships are too fast. We cannot target them properly, reported one officer. Every attack, every maneuver fails. Threx's face turned red with rage. Then split the fleet. Surround them! We will overwhelm them with numbers. But the humans were already anticipating the move. From behind an asteroid belt, 3 small ships darted into the open, striking the Varkon formation at unexpected angles. Pulses of energy disabled the nearest cruisers, causing collisions that destroyed the alien coordination entirely. The Varkon flagship shook violently. Systems flickered. Screens went dark. Panic spread like wildfire. Officers shouted, pointing to sensors, trying to find the human ships. But each time they fired, the humans had moved again, always staying one step ahead. On the human command ship, Celine gave a simple order. Maintain control, observe, let them underestimate us. They already have, and that is their mistake. Meanwhile, the Varkons struggled. One cruiser tried to fire at a human ship hiding behind a floating asteroid. The shot misfired, hitting another Varkon ship instead. Explosions lit the sector, debris scattering in every direction. Officers were frantic, unable to follow the humans' movements. Admiral, they are controlling the battlefield, whispered the young lieutenant in disbelief. Nothing we do works. Threx's hands trembled on the console. He had never felt this fear. The humans were small, fragile in appearance, yet they moved like masters of war. Every pulse, every maneuver, every calculated move left the Varkon fleet exposed, vulnerable and confused. The humans weren't just fighting. They were teaching the aliens a lesson. A lesson that strength did not always come from size or firepower. Bravery, precision, and ingenuity could overturn even the mightiest fleet. From her seat, Celine watched as her ships executed another synchronized attack. Pulses of energy disabled a battleship's engines, while another ship released a signal that caused internal weapon systems to jam. It was elegant, clean, and devastating. And still the humans showed mercy. Civilians were rescued. Injured aliens were treated. The paradox confused the Varkons. How could a species so powerful also be compassionate? Sir, they are humane, whispered one officer, voice trembling. Threx clenched his fists, rage boiling through him. No, they are monsters. Monsters hiding behind mercy. The young lieutenant looked at him, confused. Monsters? Or humans? Meanwhile, in the shadows, a massive human dreadnought, their ultimate weapon, moved silently, hidden from sensors. It waited. The Varkons had no idea that this small fleet, appearing weak, carried the seed of devastation. One strike from this ship could change the tide of the battle entirely. Captain Celine gave the order that would define the next stage of the conflict. Prepare the dreadnought. Let them see true human power. Only when necessary. Patience wins battles. The Varkans did not know it yet, but humanity had shown only a glimpse of its strength. The chaos they had caused was just the beginning, and as the Varkans scrambled to reorganize, the humans prepared to strike again. Every move precise, every action measured, every human ready to prove that the galaxy had never faced anything like them before. The war was far from over, but one thing was certain. The Varkans would never forget the day humans struck back. The Varkan fleet was still reeling from the human attacks. Chaos had spread through their ranks and no ship moved in perfect formation anymore. Officers shouted over the alarms, but their orders were ignored. Every scan showed the humans in impossible positions, always one step ahead. On the human side, silence reigned. Captain Celine sat on the bridge of the command ship, eyes fixed on the tactical screen. The human fleet had done what it needed. Confusion, chaos, and fear were spreading among the aliens, but the true power of humanity had yet to be revealed. "Rye," Celine said calmly, "activate the dreadnought. Position it behind the asteroid belt." "No one can see it yet." Lieutenant Rye's fingers flew over the controls. A massive human dreadnought hidden in stealth mode shifted into position. Its hull gleamed faintly, energy cores humming with power. Though unseen by the Varkan scanners, its presence was about to change the battlefield entirely. On the Varkan flagship, Admiral Threx's frustration grew. "How is this possible? They are everywhere, yet nowhere. Focus fire, find them. Destroy them." "Sir," a junior officer said, voice trembling. "Their ships, they are coordinating. But there's something bigger, something we cannot detect." Threx's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Scan again. Use every sensor, every probe. There is no ship out there that can hide from us." But even as the Varkans searched, the dreadnought moved. It emerged from the shadow of an asteroid, massive and terrifying. Its energy field pulsed with a quiet but unstoppable force. The first beam it fired struck a Varkan battleship mid-engine. Sparks flew, shields collapsed, and the massive ship drifted helplessly into space. "Impossible," Threx yelled. "How can one ship?" Celine watched the battle unfold from her bridge. "They expected small humans. They underestimated us. Now they will see the truth." The dreadnought released a controlled energy wave that disabled the nearest Varkan fleet cluster. Weapons jammed. Engines froze. Communication lines went silent. The aliens' flagship was thrown into chaos, officers scrambling to regain control. In the midst of the panic, smaller human ships darted between crippled Varkan ships, rescuing civilians trapped in damaged vessels. Aliens could not understand it. Humans were destroying their fleet yet saving lives simultaneously. The contradiction baffled them, increasing fear and confusion. "Sir," the young lieutenant whispered to Threx, They are merciful but lethal. They are perfect in battle." Threx slammed his fist onto the console. "No, this cannot be. We are the mightiest. How can humans, a tiny species, do this?" From the human command ship, Celine gave another order. "Prepare synchronized pulse. Focus on the lead battleships. Maximum effect, minimal destruction." The dreadnought emitted a massive energy wave. One by one, Varkan battleships lost control. Engines failed. Weapons locked. The massive vessels collided. Explosions lighting the dark sector like stars falling from the sky. Alien pilots screamed in fear, their fleet unraveling faster than they had ever imagined possible. "Captain, the fleet. It's collapsing," Lieutenant Rye said. "They cannot recover," Celine nodded. "Good, but keep formation tight. We must remain precise. Their panic is our advantage, but overconfidence could cost us." Even as the dreadnought continued to strike, humans maintained perfect coordination. Every ship knew its role. Every pulse, every maneuver, every rescue mission was calculated. They were small, yes, but their precision made them unstoppable. Admiral Threx could no longer hide his fear. "Signal all surviving ships. Retreat, retreat," he bellowed. "Do not engage the humans further." But it was too late. The humans had already shown their power. The dreadnought had proven that no alien fleet could handle human ingenuity, coordination, and technology. The Varkans had underestimated the humans at their own peril. Celine watched silently as the aliens fled. The dreadnought powered down slightly, its presence still a warning across the sector. Humans had not destroyed everything. They had taught a lesson that the galaxy would never forget. Humanity, small but clever, precise but merciful, was a force to be reckoned with. And in the darkness of space, as the human fleet regrouped, one thing became clear. The dreadnought was not just a weapon, it was a message. The galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The Varkons, humiliated and broken, could only flee, and in the quiet after the storm, see. The Varkon fleet limped away from the battle, battered, broken, and humiliated. Their once mighty formation lay in ruins. The aliens whispered among themselves, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. Small, weak human ships had not only survived but controlled an entire fleet with precision they had never imagined. Admiral Threx paced the bridge of his flagship, fists clenched. This cannot be. Humans cannot be this strong. They are impossible. The junior officers looked pale. Their scanners still flickered with the strange energy signatures from the humans. Weapons were jammed, engines still malfunctioning. And worst of all, the humans had shown mercy. Some Varkon civilians, rescued and treated by the humans, were alive. Alive and unharmed. They are different, one officer whispered. Not just strong, but precise. And merciful. Threx slammed his fist against the console. Mercy, that is not a strategy. They are monsters hiding behind kindness. Meanwhile, far beyond the battle zone, news of the humans' attack spread like wildfire. Alien fleets in neighboring sectors received reports, and fear began to ripple across the galaxy. Humans had appeared in the Zarathi sector, a place controlled by the Varkons for decades, and had struck with devastating efficiency. The Krill Dominion, who had once mocked humans as slow and primitive, paused their drills. "Have you heard?" one Krill commander asked nervously. "Humans, they attacked the Varkons, and survived." "Unscathed?" Another shook his head. "Impossible. Our intelligence always said humans were weak, tiny fleets, outdated technology, yet they controlled an entire alien fleet. Across the galaxy, fleets that once considered humans irrelevant now trembled. Every empire, every commander, every pilot whispered the same question. How could such a small species be so powerful? On board the human command ship, Captain Selene observed the reports flowing in through their communications array. The humans had not broadcasted any messages themselves. The fear was spreading purely from action. Silence, strategy, and precision were more powerful than any boast. Lieutenant Rye glanced at her. "Captain, they are terrified. Across the galaxy, every empire knows now. Humans are feared." Selene nodded. "Good, but this is only the first step. They must respect humanity before the real work begins." Back in the Zarathis sector, remnants of the Varkon fleet tried to regroup. Officers argued, pointing at sensor readings that still could not detect the humans' hidden dreadnought. Every plan they tried failed. Humans moved unpredictably, always maintaining control, always staying just out of reach. "They vanish like ghosts," whispered one officer. "We can see them. And then, nothing. How can we fight them if we cannot even find them?" Threx's rage turned to fear. He realized the humans were not just physically strong. They were clever, adaptable, and ruthless when necessary. And unlike most races, they showed mercy only when it served a purpose. This combination made them unpredictable and terrifying. Meanwhile, across other star systems, humans quietly acted. Supply ships delivered medicine and food to war-torn planets. Scouts observed alien movements but never engaged unless necessary. Civilians who had been abandoned on multiple worlds were rescued quietly, leaving aliens confused. How could a species so small, so fragile, wield such power yet show compassion? The Varkon spread the tale of the human strike, but fear replaced their usual pride. Even their allies grew wary. Commands that once demanded obedience now doubted their ability to survive against humans. Across the galaxy, ships paused their drills, fleets hesitated, and councils debated how to respond to a species that had changed the balance of power in one battle. And through it all, humans remained silent. No boast, no celebration. Just quiet observation and careful action. Every move was calculated to show strength and mercy simultaneously, a combination no alien had ever anticipated. Captain Selene turned to her crew. "They are scared, good, but fear alone is not enough. Respect and caution must grow. The galaxy must learn one lesson. Underestimate humans and you pay the price." Lieutenant Rye nodded. "Captain, the dreadnought remains hidden. They do not know where it is, or what it can do." Selene's eyes gleamed. "Exactly. Let them wonder. Let them fear. That is how battles are won before they are fought." And far across the galaxy, alien empires whispered. Some plotted retaliation, some debated alliances, but all knew the same truth. Humans had arrived. Humans were not weak. Humans were not to be underestimated. The seeds of fear, respect, and awe had been planted, and the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. The war was far from over, but humanity had already won something far greater than a battle: the attention of the galaxy, and a reputation that would haunt the stars for decades. The Varkan fleet had fled the Zarathi sector in disgrace. Scattered ships limped home, battered, confused, and haunted by the sight of humans, small, unassuming, yet devastatingly precise and powerful. Across the galaxy, the tale of the humans' strike spread like wildfire. Captain Selene stood on the bridge of the command ship, watching the reports flow in. The humans had not pursued the aliens. They had not boasted. They had shown power, but also restraint, and that restraint made their actions even more terrifying. "Captain," Lieutenant Rye said, pointing at the holomap, "every major fleet in the neighboring sectors is now on alert. Some have already sent scouts to check if we remain. They fear us, and they respect us. Even our mercy confuses them." Selene nodded. "Good. Humanity is not here to destroy without purpose, but we must leave a mark they cannot ignore. Prepare the signal." On a small remote moon, humans activated a transmitter. It sent a mysterious pulse across multiple star systems. The signal was encoded in a way that only advanced alien technology could detect, a message of warning and power. Wherever the signal reached, fleets paused, sensors scanned, and commanders debated its meaning. Humans had left a signature, a mark that told the galaxy, "Underestimate us at your own risk." Meanwhile, back in the Zarathi sector, the surviving Varkans struggled to regroup. Admiral Threx paced the bridge, grim and silent. His fleet had been humiliated. Officers whispered, eyes wide, haunted by the memory of humans' calculated strikes and the hidden dreadnought that had crippled their ships. "Sir," the humans. "They left no wreckage, no claim, just their presence," one officer said, voice trembling. "How can a species do that?" Threx's jaw tightened. "They are not like any other race. They are not just warriors, they are humans." Across the galaxy, fleets studied the signals left by the humans. Technology, strategy, and precision, all invisible yet powerful. Fleets that had once attacked and conquered with ease now hesitated. Aliens debated whether to retreat or risk confrontation. One thing was clear: humanity had changed the balance of power. Captain Selene watched from the bridge. "Rye, report on civilian missions." "Completed, Captain. Every abandoned colony in the sector has been assisted. Supplies delivered. Injuries treated. Lives saved." Selene allowed herself a small smile. "They will remember two things: our strength and our mercy. Fear alone is not enough. Respect and caution must be part of the lesson." And in the dark of space, the human dreadnought remained hidden, its energy core pulsing softly. No alien had detected its location. No one could predict its movements. It was a symbol of the humans' quiet dominance, a reminder that size, speed, and numbers alone could never overcome ingenuity. "Courage and precision." "Captain," Rye said, "some sectors are already reporting unusual readings. Fleets are analyzing, but no one can find the dreadnought. It's almost like it's watching them." Selene nodded. "Exactly. Let them wonder. Let them fear. The galaxy must learn that humanity does not fight for show. It fights for survival, strategy, and principle. And we do not strike unless necessary." In the Varkan fleet, officers whispered rumors. Humans had not attacked indiscriminately. Humans had not claimed planets. Humans had left their mark, and it was a warning, a challenge, and a mystery all at once. The galaxy's opinion of humanity had shifted. From weak and insignificant to precise, powerful, and unstoppable. A small species had proven that courage, strategy, and intelligence could overcome the largest fleets and the deadliest weapons. And as Captain Selene looked out into the star-filled void, she knew the humans' work was just beginning. The message had been sent. The mark had been left, and the galaxy would never forget the day the humans showed their true power. The humans vanished quietly, leaving alien fleets to wonder, fear, and respect. The war was not over, but the humans had already won the galaxy's attention.